All rise. To be here to celebrate our accomplishments and the experiences that we've had here. We thank you so much for this wonderful college and all that it has provided for us throughout the years. We thank you for our instructors and all that they have given us, for the knowledge, inspiration, and experiences that we've shared as we learned and grown with and from them. We thank you so much for all those that made this night possible. We ask you to please bless them. We thank you for the friends that we've made and the relationships that we've made as well. We ask that we please bless each of us as we go off into the paths that we've chosen, that will have the help to be successful in whatever we may do. We ask that please bless the speakers tonight, that they will have the help to inspire us and to lift us up. Again, we thank you for this night, and we humbly ask and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
You may be seated. Honored candidates for graduation and distinguished guests, on behalf of the District Governing Board, it is my privilege to welcome you to Eastern Arizona College's annual commencement exercise. Tonight we make history. Tonight we celebrate the 125th anniversary of this college. I wish to recognize dignitaries seated on the front row of the stage from your left. Mrs. Tina McMaster, member of the District Governing Board. Mr. George Lord, President, Alumni Association. Mrs. Jeannie Bryce, Provost. Keith Crockett, honored guest speaker. Mr. Brent McEwen, Executive Vice President. Mr. Steve Johnson, faculty guest speaker. Mr. Richard Mattice, Chairman of the District Governing Board. Mrs. Lois Ann Moody, member of the District Governing Board and Secretary. Mr. Lance Layton, member of the District Governing Board. We call your attention to the honor stoles being worn by many members of the graduating class. The gold honor stoles trimmed in purple are worn by those students with the highest grade point averages during their attendance at Eastern Arizona College. Also, the solid gold honor stoles are worn by members of the graduating class who are members of the EAC chapter of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. We salute all these honor graduates for their accomplishments. Behind me on the stage are members of Eastern's faculty and administrative corps. These professionals are truly the institution's most treasured resource. Please join me in acknowledging Eastern's dedicated professionals with a round of applause. Tonight, I am pleased to recognize Eastern's outstanding Fine Arts Division for assistance with this evening's commencement activities. Please join me in acknowledging these individuals with a round of applause. We would also like to express our appreciation to Curtis Landscaping for the plants and trees, and to the EAC Maintenance Department for the hard work they put in to make this ceremony a success. In a special commencement tradition, members of the Eastern Arizona Junior College class of 1963 are celebrating their 50th reunion today. We are honored with their presence. Let's give them a warm welcome home. Each graduation day, Eastern Arizona College celebrates student progress and academic achievement. Eastern salutes our new graduates and wishes each of you continued success. You give us cause for high expectations and great hope for the future. At the conclusion of this ceremony, a reception in your honor will take place at the Gila Hanks Pavilion at the south end of the stadium. All graduates and guests are invited to attend. We shall now hear from Mr. George Lord, President of the Eastern Arizona College Alumni Association. Following Mr. Lord, we will be favored with a special musical number entitled Let the Futures Begin, a composition prepared especially for Eastern Arizona College and performed by the EAC Symphonic Band under the direction of Mr. Jeff Despain. Mrs. Jeannie Bryce, Provost, will then introduce our student and faculty speakers.
Thank you, President Bryce. Good evening, graduates, faculty, honored guests, and visitors. My name is George Lord. I'm here on behalf of the Eastern Arizona College Alumni Association. I'd first of all like to extend my congratulations to all the graduates for their special achievements, and especially as well to the parents, families, and friends for their support of all the graduates. I ask that you please invest just a few minutes with me while I share two subjects with you: a very brief synopsis of my Eastern Arizona experience and the role of the Eastern Arizona College Alumni Association. Like many of you here tonight, I'm a graduate of Eastern Arizona College. I arrived in Thatcher in late August 1964, 5 days after being discharged from a 3-year tour in the United States Navy. I just left Japan, literally located in the rice paddies of central Japan, where my base was located. Thanks to the work of the Eastern Arizona College Admissions Office and Mr. Jesse Devaney, I was released early from my orders to send me to Vietnam, and instead, I came to Thatcher. As you can imagine, Thatcher, Arizona was a bit of a culture shock for me, both for being out of the military from a foreign country and for going from rice paddies to cotton fields. In my first week in Thatcher, I met two of the most important people in my life. The first one was Mr. Wayne McGrath, who would be both my basketball coach and mentor. That first week, I also met Phyllis Martin of Morenci, Arizona, who in 1968 became Phyllis Lord, my wife and life partner. Phyllis and I graduated together from EA in 1966. Phyllis had a long and distinguished career with the city of Tucson, the last 16 years in the mayor's office. The degree I received from EA was the cornerstone to my professional job at Hughes Aircraft in Tucson. I was blessed to have a lengthy career with Hughes and Raytheon and retired in 2003. I'm especially blessed to be both a father and grandfather. The Eastern Arizona College Alumni Association, of which all you new graduates are now members, supports a range of activities for alumni. The association supports reunions such as anniversaries of graduating classes, such as the 50th anniversary group that's here tonight. The association also supports other reunions for sports, band, choir, and drama groups as applicable. A major event, the 125th anniversary of EAC, is in the final planning stages for September of this year. The Alumni Association also prepares the Heligram newsletter that is published biannually for EAC alumni with about 29,000 current recipients. The Heligram provides an excellent summary of both school and alumni activity, and I would encourage you all to get on distribution for that and stay in touch. Most importantly, however, the association works with the EAC Foundation to raise funds for scholarships. to provide opportunity for higher education to students who wouldn't otherwise be able to attend EA. Currently, approximately 146 scholarships are available to new and existing students as a result of donations made by alumni. Some of you here tonight have benefited from those scholarship dollars, so you know especially what impact they can have. As a member of the Alumni Association Scholarship Selection Committee, I will tell you it's very rewarding to see many well-qualified but needy students given the chance to achieve their dreams because they are awarded scholarships. On the other hand, it is also disappointing for the committee to see deserving and capable applicants that are not able to get a scholarship due to insufficient funds. At the conclusion of our Alumni Selection Committee session this year, we observed that if each of the nearly 29,000 alumni would contribute just $10, we would have $290,000 to apply to more scholarships. Support for scholarships can be done by submitting donations of all sizes to the EAC Foundation. For many years, Phyllis and I would donate very small amounts as it was all we could afford. And over the years, gradually increased the amount as we could afford a little more. With the unexpected passing of our beloved Phyllis in 2003, we decided the best way to commemorate her uncommon life and all aspects of her life was to dedicate a scholarship here at EA in her name. The Phyllis Martin Lord Scholarship is an example of scholarships that both recognize an individual and supports the education of EA students forever. It may not be as visible a memorial as having a building named after someone, but the memorial scholarship dedication was a most rewarding experience for me and for my family. In closing, I would like to remind the graduates tonight that we have something in common. We have shared the special educational benefits from multiple generations of very highly qualified and committed educators and administrators here at EA. I believe that we who benefit so much from this process have some obligation to help sustain the continuation of that most beneficial process. With all you face this evening, keep EA and the Foundation in mind, even if it's just for those $10. You have the power to make a strong impact on those that follow you at EAC. I would once again congratulate all graduates and their families on their joint achievements. To all the graduates, I would especially extend my wishes for your continued success and happiness in the next chapter of your life, whatever and wherever that may be. Good evening and thank you.
It is an honor to introduce this year's speakers for our commencement ceremony. They are Amanda Dinetclaw, representing the graduating class, and faculty representative Steve Johnson. Amanda Dinetclaw, daughter of Paul and Catherine Backerick, was raised in Ely, Nevada, and moved here to attend EAC. She enjoys the outdoors and loves to hike, camp out, and especially likes fishing. She is graduating tonight with an Associate of Applied Science degree in nursing. In her coursework at EAC, Amanda has maintained a perfect 4.0 grade point average while still finding time to get married to Pete Dinetclaw. Amanda is known throughout her class as being a very intense member of the study group. She comes highly recommended by the nursing faculty as one of their top students. Amanda is planning on moving to Tucson and hopes to work as a nurse in the OB department in one of the hospitals there. We expect great things from her in the future and wish her every success. Steve Johnson, criminal justice instructor in the Social Sciences Division and director of the Center for Teaching and Learning, will speak tonight representing the faculty. He obtained his associate's degree from Eastern Arizona College and a Bachelor of Science degree and Master of Science degree from Northern Arizona University. His teaching experience of 24 years at EAC will conclude this evening with his retirement. Mr. Johnson has twice served as the president of the Arizona Justice Education Association and was honored by the Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training Board for directing 6 highly successful police academies. Mr. Johnson and his wife, Karen, have 3 wonderful children and 7 adorable grandchildren. He has loved working at Eastern Arizona College and will genuinely miss his students. We will now hear from our speakers in the order they have been introduced. Please join me in providing our speakers a warm welcome.
Thank you for that nice welcome. It's great to be surrounded. Well, just surrounded. I would like to start off by thanking President Bryce, the board, and the faculty. Many of us have family, friends, relatives. They're all here, and they're all celebrating the exact same thing. My graduation. Just joking. My name is Amanda Dinetclaw, and as part of the class of 2013, just a small part, mind you, I've been asked to get up here, actually voted by my classmates, to say a few words about the occasion and what it all means. So in trying to find the right words, I started asking myself about graduation and the ceremony. What is it? Why do we have it? What's the psychology around it? And then it hit me. Having a ceremony to commemorate a change is common across virtually every culture on Earth. So there must be something behind this idea of commemoration. Something deep. And the more I thought about it, okay, admittedly, I wasn't pulling an all-nighter here. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized how important a graduation ceremony is, or a ceremony for any commitment in life. The ceremony is like a nightcap, a way of acknowledging the commitment we've made or are preparing to make. When 2 people get married, they commemorate their commitment to each other with what else? A ceremony. If you want to mentally prepare yourself for a change, you have a ceremony with your family and friends, so they can all see you make the promise to yourself and to them. And the promise affects everything we do from here on out. What does that promise mean here today? Although the graduation ceremony is a celebration of the commitment we've made to get here, it's also a reminder of the commitment to life, which demands from us now. We're all college graduates now. By taking our education seriously, we're telling each other we are taking our lives seriously. By having our friends here to give us encouragement and congratulations, we're acknowledging that we're taking another challenging step into legitimate adulthood. Oh, by the way, graduates, you're now adults, just in case you needed a reminder. This means graduation serves as a ceremony for 2 things: the commitment it took to get here, and the lifelong commitment we now take to be full, contributing members of society. For some of us, it's a 2nd or 3rd career change. We're college educated now. There's really no excuses for us. Many of us, despite our challenges, have seen opportunities billions across the world could never dream of. We have to protect that opportunity and cherish what it represents for us, a chance to achieve our dreams. We students have learned through clinicals and nursing how we can make a difference even to that one person. Each of you in your respective academic areas can find a unique way to make a difference. We also have to respect the responsibility our place in life has created for us. We have a responsibility to help those in need, including those less fortunate. So while many of you feel funny wearing a cap and gown today, realize that there's something significant about the ceremony. It's indicative of the way we should view ourselves and our chosen professions. We've got the diploma, we're certified, it's official. Now we've got to honor the commitment we've made today. Thank you.
Good evening to each one of you, and especially the class of 2013. Whoever would have thought nearly 125 years ago that a graduating class of this size and caliber would be celebrating with people from around the world via a live internet stream. Yet back then, they would have known, just as we know today, that you are graduating from a community college second to none. We are here for no other reason than to honor you, the class of 2013, and to recognize your accomplishments and hard work. My thoughts will be 7 minutes brief, but from the heart. Let me share with you something. It's no secret that Karen and I love to travel. We especially like to take cruises. I especially like to eat on those cruises. One of the most interesting things we've done on a cruise ship was when we had the opportunity to take a behind-the-scenes tour. We saw the immense kitchens, crew areas, infirmary, and even a brig. It was fascinating to learn how much preparation and effort it takes for a successful trip. When you go behind the scenes of a cruise ship, you quickly realize that a tremendous amount of work and effort takes place for guests to have an enjoyable and a safe trip. Class of 2013, your journey here at EAC has been much like that. Most of you are not aware of what goes on behind the scenes at Eastern to make your time here enjoyable, safe, and rewarding. The hours and hours spent by instructors preparing for your classes, the year-round work by all employees to make sure that the campus is beautiful, safe, and ready for the 3,300 students who attend classes on our campus and 3,100 more who take advantage of EAC's offerings in other ways. But here is the most important thing done to make sure that your trip to EAC provides you with the skills needed for an economy and a world that is increasingly more difficult and competitive. It is normal to forget much of what I share, yet I hope you will remember this important truth. What EAC does and what sets it apart from other colleges is that we know and we genuinely care about the one. It has been that way since its beginning, and it will continue to be the foundation of this great college. You have experienced the reality of this practice in your classes, school events, and receiving help from wonderful support staff. You're not aware that behind the scenes of our EAC crews, faculty spend hundreds of hours each semester preparing content for your classes. The lack of sleep it takes for our executive chef to coordinate serving the huge amount of food you consume weekly. The never-ending meetings and planning. Or the thousands of miles that are both driven and flown each year by our president and administration to ensure that your classes transfer seamlessly to the universities and that we retain our financial security. You have been taught by nearly 100 full-time faculty who collectively hold 71 master degrees and 11 doctorates, as well as 265 awesome part-time faculty. This equates to an average of 1 instructor for every 25 students. It's no wonder that 93% of EA graduates that were surveyed in 2011 said that if they were to do it all over again, they would still choose EAC. I'm excited that many of you have been in classes that increasingly use more and more instructional technology. This number will actually grow and serve you very well as we flip the classroom. Google that one later. Yet there is concern about something the world has given you that could derail or hinder your successful trip to higher education and good careers. My concern is that this same technology that has helped you learn here at EAC may actually cause many of you to forget the importance of the one, especially in individual face-to-face interaction. Technology is wonderful. It allows us to instantly be connected to people around the world. It can also cause us at times to ignore those persons right in front of us. Consider this question. How many of you tonight have already tweeted, sent a photo, texted someone, or are even viewing me live on your smartphone or tablet as I speak? Most likely many of you. While social media can introduce us to new ideas and expand our horizons by helping us think differently, it all depends on how it is used. Nearly 125 years ago, when EAC began as a church school called the St. Joseph Stake Academy, the technology you, the class of 2013, use on a daily basis was unimagined. Yet we have succeeded for well over a century because the college, faculty, and students have realized that nothing can actually replace the knowing and caring of the one. That concern and caring does not mean becoming isolated. It means while caring about yourself, you also care about others and the real world around you. It means being like Charles Ramsey, who earlier this week wasn't afraid of becoming involved when he heard a woman's anguished cries, and as a result was able to help rescue 3 young women in Cleveland who had been kidnapped and tortured for a decade. It means remembering what many of you have learned here, that FaceTime with excellent instructors is way more valuable than an icon on an iPad. That actually being with and getting to know 5 real friends can be much more rewarding than having 1,000 of them on Facebook. And we all have learned that excellence requires hard work, that proper compromise is often necessary for growth, and that while EAC's size offers a more personal education for many, it also helps many make it a more excellent education for all. So as you leave EAC and this important ceremony tonight, you will be carrying your smartphones and tablets filled with pictures of this event. You will upload them to your Facebook or Flickr accounts, and you will tweet, "I finally made it." But you will also be leaving EAC with much more than what technology has given you. You will be leaving us with a sense of what has always made our institution great, a personal commitment to get to know and genuinely care about the one around you. Class of 2013, may you experience a feeling of appreciation for having been taught at this great institution and to soon be called its alumni. Thank you, and make us proud of your lives as you influence so many others for good.
It is my privilege to introduce our honored guest speaker. We are delighted to have Keith Crockett as our guest speaker here tonight. Mr. Crockett was born, grew up, and currently lives in Pima, and he is well known in the Gila Valley. Mr. Crockett graduated from Pima High School and EAC. He earned bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Arizona, an educational specialist degree from Northern Arizona University, and pursued additional graduate studies at BYU. Mr. Crockett was employed for 34 years and spent much of that time as director of the Gila Valley Institute of Religion right across the street from North Campus. Over the years, he has touched the lives of thousands of EAC students who have had the good fortune to make his acquaintance. He also served in important leadership responsibilities. Mr. Crockett is past president of the EAC Alumni Association, serving from 1979 until 1993. During that time, he was also a member of the EAC Foundation Board. He served as president of the Graham County Historical Society and is deeply interested in local history and historical sites. Mr. Crockett readily admits that any of his accomplishments or accolades that he has earned over the years were a result of the loving support of his lovely wife, Kathleen McBride Crockett, who is an EAC graduate, as well as are their 3 sons and 3 daughters. They have 28 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. In this landmark year, the 125th in the college's history, please join me in welcoming Mr. Keith Crockett back to Eastern Arizona College.
The month of June approaches, and soon throughout the land, the graduation speakers will tell us where we stand. We stand in Armageddon, in the vanguard of the press. We're standing at the crossroads, at the gateway to success. We're standing on the threshold of careers all brightly lit. But in the midst of all this standing, we sit and sit and sit. I want to know you won't have to sit too long for my part tonight, but there are some things I'd like to share with you. I'm very honored to be asked to speak in this program when we commemorate the 125th anniversary of this institution. I attended in 1951 and 1953. I remember when we had our 50th anniversary reunion. And President Lords, the Alumni Association is doing great work, and I encourage all you graduates to join in and participate with them. One of my favorite authors, by the name of Louis L'Amour, had one of his characters say this: "What else have we but memories? For all life is divided into 2 parts, anticipation and memory. And if we remember richly, we must have lived richly." I know you've anticipated for a long time this event tonight, and I'm sure your parents and family members likewise have anticipated this. And you probably are anticipating greater things in the next few years, such as marriage and family, receiving your advanced degrees, beginning your profession, becoming a contributing citizen of our society. That means paying your taxes. And most of all, fulfilling your dreams. So anticipation becomes a major part of our lives. But tonight I'd like to refer to the memories, some of my own and some that your fellow alumni have experienced here at this institution. When this school began, they only had 19 students registered. As word spread of the greatness of the institution, 1 month later, there were 45 students registered. Basic classes of reading, writing, and arithmetic were taught. 12 years later, in 1900, a class to train women to be midwives and nurses was taught by Dr. Ellis R. Shipp, a well-known woman physician. The graduates from this 8-week course were given certificates and the right to wear a white cap. At the laying of the cornerstone of Old Main on October the 12th, 1908, the president of the Board of Education made some prophetic remarks. Now let us take a peek into the future. Achievement will not keep us waiting. If we don't get up early, we'll be found sluggards, and the world will get away from us. As the bicycle at one time was a crude machine, but today is used in every phase of life, so the flying machine will become just as common. Land now so remote because of the slow motion of the conveyances, the farmer can fly to and prosper upon its tillage, and city men can live out of town, which will bring into demand land now unused. As we look upon the old ox team, we will in time look upon the automobile, and space will be nothing to us. Isn't that amazing that that was at the Cornerstone dedication in 1908? I remember seeing a picture in the Centennial history of buggies lined up in front of Old Main with the horses tied to hitching posts that lined the street on both sides. In the fall of 1908, Daniel Dudley Jones came to Eastern Arizona College as the coach. He recorded in his journal this experience after being here for 8 years. In 1916, I took our baseball team to Tucson and defeated the University of Arizona for the state crown. Isn't that exciting? The president of the university wondered how a team from Thatcher could beat his university team. And I think that speaks of the caliber of the students we have. On another occasion, Coach Jones invited the basketball team from the University of Arizona to come to Thatcher and play a game. They accepted the challenge, and the game was played in the social hall of the church basement, known as the Cracker Box. EA didn't have a gymnasium and wouldn't have for 11 more years. The court in the Cracker Box was small, not regulation size, and with a low ceiling and beams across the ceiling, it made it impossible to shoot arching shots at the basket. The academy team had been trained in shooting low shots, bank them off the backboard, and as a result of that experience, they beat the University of Arizona. There were only 6 students on that basketball team. The youngest, a boy named Spencer, wrote in his journal these words: "It was a great occasion. Many people came tonight who had never been before. We're used to our small court with a low ceiling, but our opponents were not. I had the special luck with my shots tonight, and the ball goes through the hoop again and again. And the game ends with our academy team, the victors, against the university team. Being the smallest and youngest on the team, I piled up the most points through the efforts of the whole team protecting me and feeding me the ball. The big fellows of the academy lifted me up on their shoulders and have paraded me around the court, much to my consternation and embarrassment. But I like basketball." On another occasion, Coach Jones took the team to Tempe for a track meet. He said to this boy, "Spencer, I think we'll let you run the mile." He had never trained for it. But, being obedient to his coach, he approached the starting line dressed in his overalls and tennis shoes. And this is what he wrote: "The signal was given, and away I went. I tried to keep up with those who had trained, and I did fairly well until my wind was lost, and they sprinted on ahead of me. My loyalty would have taken me to my death, I think, had the mile not eventually terminated. I would rather die than quit or fail my school." He continues writing, "I ran on, and finally all seemed a blur to me. I fell across the finish line. My good friends patted me on the back. 'Well, Spencer, you came in third anyway.' Of course, we all knew there was only 3 of us in the race. I don't think Spencer anticipated on being an NBA star, or NAU either, an NBA star, or even winning a gold medal in the Olympics. But he did become outstanding in his field of real estate and insurance, and eventually was elected governor of the Rotary Clubs of Arizona, and he served in many other leadership positions. And I ask you graduates, what are you anticipating in the future? Remember, all life is made up of 2 things, anticipation and memories. And if we remember richly, we will have lived richly. I remember when the college operated a school bus up and down the valley to bring students to and take them home from school. Very, very few students owned a car. One sunny spring afternoon, as the chemistry lab finished in the basement of Old Main, we walked outside, and there between the 2 big palm trees outside the door was a little tiny car squeezed in between those 2 trees. The girl from Safford who owned that car finally had to find some handsome young men to come and extract the car from between those 2 trees. Of course, she didn't know that they are the boys who put it there in the first place. What a way to get a date with a girl. As a student here in 1951, I was invited to sing in the men's quartet. Another member of this group was a kid I'd met at the 4-H summer camp down at the University of Arizona several years before. We became very good friends. Several months ago, he called me and asked me to speak at his funeral, as he knew he was dying. He specifically asked that I'd review in that funeral sermon some of the experiences we had at EAJC. He wanted his family to know. Afterwards, they are very appreciative of knowing some of the memories that their father and grandfather had had with me at Eastern Arizona Junior College. In 1952, I ran for student body president, and I got beat. But I knew the names of every student on campus, personally, all 205 of them. We really come a long ways. The growth of Eastern Arizona College can be attributed in part to the power that one alumnus called the spirit of Gila. This quotation appeared on the entrance gate over on the east side of campus, where the Math Science Complex now stands. When that gate was taken down, the plaque was placed on between the 2 sidewalks on the south side of Church Street between North and Middle campuses. You might want to stop and read that. And this is what it says. The spirit of Gila. Up through the struggles of a pioneer people she rose, bringing with her the power to lift men and women to greater accomplishments through the inspiration of her leadership. Her halls, though humble, tell of deeds of service, friendships melded with sympathetic understanding, and the worship of a divine creator. She will live forever in the lives of those who have lighted their torches at her sacred altar. Over the years, more than 42,800 students, full-time students, have lit their torches at EAC, with thousands of other part-time students doing the same. You graduates tonight are joining a vast throng of alumni found all over the world. One of my most memorable alumni reunions was held in Buenos Aires, Argentina, when the manager of the franchise owners of McDonald's Corporation invited us to his home for an EAC alumni reunion. 7 of us, thrilled, and what memories we remembered from our experiences here at EA. Several years ago, I read a short story in an education journal about a first grade teacher who at the end of school bid farewell to her students. And as she returned to her classroom, she looked at the empty desks, and emotions began to swell up in her. And she asked herself, if these desks could speak, what would they say? As I look at you tonight, I wonder what your desk would say, or your favorite study table at the library, or your favorite shady spot on the lawn would say if they could speak. Hopefully, they would speak of pleasant experiences and beautiful memories of your experience here. Now, I know many of you have been on band and choir tours, and it's very exciting to have that experience. But let me share with you what happened in 1903, when the administration asked the band and choir members to tour the towns of southeast Arizona and be a spokesman for the college as well as entertain them. Quite a recruitment experience. One of the members of the choir, Laura McBride Smith, wrote this about that experience. When the company was ready to start, remember this is 1903, when the company was ready to start, it was quite a sight to see about 20 buggies motivated by horsepower, all lined up with 3 to 5 people in each buggy. They were all parked out on the campus. As the caravan with all those buggies started traveling down the street slowly, some bystanders thought it was a funeral procession. It seems that the student who played the string bass carried his instrument in a big long box in the back of one of the buggies. And the bystanders saw it and thought it was a funeral procession with a coffin in the buggy. Well, we're grateful to those alumni who recorded their experiences while attending this institution. Did they anticipate that we would share some of those memories tonight? They probably just shared with their family and friends some of those great experiences they had. My challenge to you tonight is to write down your experiences. As Dr. Jeffrey Holland, a noted American history scholar, wrote, we need to read more history, we need to write more history, and we need to make more history. And so to you graduates I say, learn to make the most of life. Lose no happy day. Time can never bring thee back, chances swept away. Leave no tender word unsaid. Love while life shall last. The mill will never turn again with water that has passed. In conclusion, may I share with you the words of Luther Burbank, who towards the end of his life wrote this. I pause now, toward the end of my allotted time, and glance backward, and to gather my harvest of experience and growth and friendship and memory. And what has been my harvest? The harvest of work accomplished and aims achieved. The harvest of experiences and lessons that have molded and impressed my life. The harvest of dear friendships and happy memories. And the harvest is rich and heavy and abundant. Yes, Louis L'Amour was correct when he said, all life is divided into 2 parts, anticipation and memory. And if we remember richly, we would have lived richly. Thank you, graduates, and may the Spirit of Gila be with you.
Executive Vice President Brent McEwen will now present the class of 2013 to Board Chairman Matthijs.
Chairman Matthijs, I hereby present the candidates to receive the associate degree.
President Bryce, members of the District Governing Board, candidates for graduation, ladies and gentlemen. It is a honor and a privilege to accept the Eastern Arizona College class of 2013. The board, by virtue of the authority vested in it by law and on recommendation of the college faculty, does hereby accept candidates for the associate degree.
Monsters!
Amanda Marie Denetclaw. Sarah Ruth Green. Anthony James Vialba. Robert Douglas Baker. Ryan J. Holyoke. Adam Ladine Steniger. Curtis James Jones. Preston K. Jones. Allie Wright. Camille Celeste Webb. Cyrilyn Levon Busby. Bridget Preston. Brianna DeRusha. Alfredo A. Chavez. Lawrence Jerome Chavez. Ivana M. Bejarano. Hannah Leslie Roast. Stephanie K. McLaughlin. Kimberly Marie Peck. Katie Ann Ballard. Katie Ann Larson. Blaine Risher Taylor. Kelsey Renee Vigas. Kate Tachi Minson. Annalyn Spartacus Sanders. Kimberly Lynn Millett. Madeline Elise Mashu. Haley Phelps. Kaylin Eager. Candace S. Brady. Stephanie Chantel French. Felicia R. Marcus. Myra Reese. Chelsea Marie Carpenter. Rebecca Ann Bollinger. Brittany Matthews. Heather Lynn Claridge. Brooklyn Renee Matthews. Courtney Lord. Christopher Lyons Norton. Helaman Arietta. Amanda M. Interpreter. Lorna M. Moses. Sonia Elizabeth Boyd. Dolores G. Guerrero. Liana M. Allen. Vanessa Marie Allen. Laura Michelle Warren. Misty Wilson. Michaela J. Dannenbrink. Heather Lee Jim. Amber Marie Hart. Kristen Sorensen. Kale Hamlin. Kyla Dawn Woodward. Solomon Roberto Figueroa. Mackenzie Deanne Crockett. Stanley Kyle Crockett. Wesley Adam Wright. Wayne A. Stevenson. Sean Garrett Williams. Jess Arthur Curtis. Vanessa Joy Long. Tuli Grabe. Hunter B. Windsor. Cassie Gojkovic. Brittany Nicole Rogers. Alyssa Lawrence. Bradley Aaron Johnson. Devin Lee Nez. Kayla Hooper. Michelle Gail Robertson. Hannah Marie Tark. Daniel Reese Smith. Chantel D. Semper. Stephanie Marie Ashton. Michaela Crockett. Rachel Maureen Garrett. Michelle Renee Knight. Amanda Ashley Severin. Mandy Lee Sanchez. Sabrina M. Norgord. Laura Lynn Allen. Liana Felicity Pryor. Erin Lynn Biggs. Adina T. Morris. Caitlin Brawley. Jessica N. Allen. Billy Sue Bonilla. Crystal Lena Para. Jessica Renee Trammell. Jessica Lynn Squires. Cassidy R. Romney. Crystal Dawn Lehman. Jennifer Lynn Hancock. Jared Michael Ray. Brenna Lynn Johnson. Antonio J. Maldonado. Amber Rose T. Kendra Lynn Rogers. Alana Lynn McDonald. Desiree Ann Oaks. Rebecca Lynn Poindexter. Nicole M. Weech. Anita Perturka. Maya Sasa. Brant Michael Woods. Stuart Allen Glines. Rosa R. Carvajal. Amara Marie Wainwright. Amani Fatari Daniels. Karsten Lee. Mercy Burgoyne Lee. Natasha Faye Harris. Roxanne R. Van. Rachel Maureen Stevens. Rachel Faye Young. Victoria D. Skousen. Emily K. Davis. Erica Collins. Jeannie C. Hill. Kathy M. Campbell. Nicholas Martinez Tejas. Brock Martin Reynolds. Curtis C. Young. Justin Ryan Lawhorn. Olivia M. Hornstein. Miriam J. Bankston. Rita Marie Hokionga. Keisha Dakosin. Miranda Sue Eastwood. Malia Ann Espinoza. Stephanie Ann Norton. Susan Burke. Kara M. Caldwell. Carolyn Allerton. Kayla M. Roderick. Jared Leon Gardner. Jennifer Ashley Brewer. Brittany Lee Price. Brittany Leah Price. Carlos Dan Gosillon. Ashley Brianne Lopez. Maggie Liz Schockmeyer. Skylar Rupert Lupe. Jordan Edelman. Jonathan Peter Chavez III. Matthew Elton McHugh. Sheridan Nodestine. Danielle Angela Prosella. Michael Anthony Prosella. Edgar Baltazar Pacheco. Nathan Joseph Stepanek. Gary R. Green. Dustin Stephen Weaver. Crystal Leigh Whiteman. Emily Rena Castillo. Maria R. Arbizo. Lisa Marie Isaacson. Bradley M. Markham. Matthew Jonathan Allen. Dylan R. Ditlor. Kinsey Peterson. Tyler Zane Sagane. W. Jordan Udall. Rex Randall Self. Travis Paul Lunt. Jared Keith Hughes. Jacob Rene Espinoza. Ashley Jordan Jameson. Allison Hanson McBride. Norma Jean Harvey. Kyla Shadeen Jameson. Stephen Paul Harmon. Corey Nicholas Boswell. Becker Thomas Steineman. Tori Jonelle Mosier. Danica Deshelle Farrar. Sean Dallin Red. Taylor Josie Owens. Alyssa Marie Perkins. Myron Joseph Perkins. Joshua N. Biggs. Nicole Carolyn Biggs. Elizabeth Taryn Curtis Easton. Peter James Avalos Jr. Riley Snell. Tiffany Ann Bright. Brittany England Giles. Jared L. Boren. Justin Elisha Green. Andres Squire. Tashina Begay. Tammy M. Pursley. Haley Elizabeth Denetclaw. Willis James Hawes III. Donald B. Chapman. Carolyn Renee Spencer. Delaney Polly. Jonathan David Orr. Weston Knight Williams. Chad Stephen Williams. Hunter Grayson Hewish. Shannon Kylie O'Malley. Emily Catherine Miller. Danae Nicole Waite. Christopher Green. Nielsa Mantia Cisco. Amy Rose Hope Key. Tiffany Ellen Kraut. Erin Nicole Kraut. Heather R. Lehman. Megan May Van Scoy. Sharon A. Kluzek. Lester L. Wilson. Dale Andrew Dillon. Cindy Lee Nelson Garcia. Lindsay K. Nelson. Jenica Ann Bates. Lindsay Wilson. Victoria A. Lukens. Andrea Renee Gatwood. Emily Nicole Stauffer. Angie Eva Rodriguez Chaparro. Abril Sarai Montes. Ambria Quinlan. Gloria Chanez. Tamara Melina Marmalejo. Joshua Michael Webb. Brenda Esmeralda Rodriguez. Patrick E. McGraw. Benjamin Bryce. Joshua Wayne Carter. Jonathan David Clavijo. Jason J. Ralph.
Please stand for the alma mater.
To be
Dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to be here this evening to graduate from Eastern Arizona College. For the strength and knowledge and endurance you've given us to reach this milestone in our lives. For all of our loved ones and supporters who have helped us achieve this goal, we're grateful for them. Please bless them that they'll be able to continue to help others. All we ask is that you bless us and the rest of our lives. We'll be able to continue chasing our dreams and accomplishing all the things we desire. That we'll remember thee in all that we do. We're grateful for all the many blessings we have. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
We express appreciation for the beautiful weather we've had this evening. I'd like to remind each of you of the goodies that are available down here as part of the celebration. That concludes tonight's ceremony. Go Monsters!